Welcome to the September edition of the Lost and Foundry Show 2022. Talking about serving today, I've got Brandy here with us. Lots of new changes with serving, new opportunities, new software. We're going to get into that in just a second. Last time we talked about our program changes. That's been going really well. As a quick update, it's been going very, very well.
It has.
I spoke to a participant the other day. She was in her grow week, and she was having just a great week. She had learned a ton, tons of spiritual awakening. That was a really great conversation. So I know people are getting tons of benefit from these new changes. I reached out to Brandon to see how he felt the program changes were going. And he said, meh, I'm just kidding. He said, participants are engaging with the new curriculum, group counseling, and schedule with enthusiasm. I think enthusiasm is a great word for that. It's definitely the vibe I'm getting. And he also said participants are having meaningful conversations about their life changes and positively contributing to the Foundry's evolving recovery community. So
That's fantastic.
it's been really good. We love the energy around here. Lots more volunteers in and out, and that's been great seeing you guys who came and served. We're going to talk about that in a second. One of the things that's making all these new changes work so well is our partners. We don't know everything, and we need people to come in and help us with it. And we have one really great partner that, how long ago has it been since we partnered with Unbound Grace?
It's been several months. It's been months now.
So we decided to go to Unbound Grace, interviews with John.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we got Tyler. Okay, we've got an interview with John, who is the founder of Unbound Grace. His story is amazing. Brandy sat down and had an interview with him. Check this out.
So, hi everybody. I'm so excited to be here with one of our partners. This is Unbound Grace, and they're here to tell you a little bit about themselves, give you more details on who they are and how it works. So, I would love for you to introduce yourself and tell us how you got involved with Unbound Grace.
Yeah, my name's John Stakely, and I'm the founder of Unbound Grace. And Unbound Grace is the result of my own struggle with addiction. In 2016, ended up at rehab at UAB, and all the mess that's involved with the rehab that some of us are very familiar with. So got out of rehab, and then was really trying to figure out, what I do with this exposure that was so painful at the time and is now a gift. And that was the beginning stages of Unbound Grace.
Congratulations. Also, can you elaborate a little bit and kind of tell everyone what Unbound Grace does?
Yeah, so Unbound Grace is really a place for people to be connected with the hope of Christ. So our whole little illustration is when you're in addiction, you're in the wilderness, and you can't find your way out of that wilderness. So you're wandering around in there, and you keep thinking you've found your way out, and you never just seem to quite get there. And Unbound Grace is a ministry where we come into the wilderness and meet you and help you walk out of that addiction, knowing that addiction is something you'll always be sensitive to in life, but that if you walk towards Christ, then you do have a hope that is so much greater than anything else in this world. So Unbound Grace is a ministry that helps people leave the wilderness of addiction. But we do it through counseling, we do it through discipleship, we do it through community, through support group meetings. And so it's a bunch of different phases to it.
How did you get connected to the Foundry?
So, I guess it was, honestly, before I started Unbound Grace in 2017, I called up Micah. And I don't remember how I got his number. But I said, hey, I have this idea. I'm thinking about starting this ministry, but I don't want to start something that somebody else is doing. And I'd love to get your thoughts, your wisdom. So Micah very graciously took me to lunch. We went to some little Mexican place over in Lakeview. And he paid for my lunch. He answered 150 million questions I had for him. And I remember distinctly at the end of that lunch, he encouraged me to go start Unbound Grace. And I was thinking, I don't know this guy very well. He seems like he's very godly, very encouraging, and I just felt the encouragement to step forward and start Unbound Grace. And I had many conversations, but Micah in particular was important in getting Unbound Grace started, just through his words of encouragement. Then we did a couple other things, met with a couple other people that encouraged it as well. But the connection with the Foundry is as much Micah in that lunch, and then Brandon Lackey, and meeting with him and talking through what it would look like and working out the details. And he has absolutely been an integral part in our partnership.
So explain to someone who would maybe is interested in volunteering with Unbound Grace. Maybe they know the Foundry, maybe they know Unbound Grace, maybe they know both. Will you explain to them what it looks like to volunteer with Unbound Grace? What is the commitment?
Yeah, so the initial commitment is about 3 months, and within that commitment, we'd like for you to spend about an hour a week dedicated to meeting with your journeyer. So the guide is the person that is volunteering, and the journeyer is the person that's leaving the wilderness of addiction. So the requirements are really walk with the Lord, wholeheartedly follow Jesus, be able to express your own vulnerabilities and weaknesses, and there's no hierarchy in this relationship. One is not better than the other. They are both walking together towards their hope that is only found in Christ. And they're both going to encourage each other. It's going to be a really neat relationship where they pour into each other, encourage each other, challenge each other. It's just one person is beginning their journey out of the wilderness, and the other person has had a little bit more experience in their journey.
In your opinion, why do you think that this is so important for someone leaving the Foundry to walk this journey with someone?
Well, it's about relationships, and we can try to get better in isolation, but we all know that doesn't go well. So it's built-in community. It's a built-in space of trust. It's a place where you can share what you've experienced with your guide, and your guide's going to share some of what they've gone through in their life. And it's really just, as much as anything, a safe place to be who you truly are and to head somewhere together. These meetings are intentional. They're not programmatic, but they're intentional in that we are headed somewhere. And ultimately, it's to participation in the church. And the guide's going to talk about what that looks like, and the journeyer gets to talk about what they think it looks like as well.
So to sign up, you want to go to foundryministries.com/unboundgrace. On there, you will be able to sign up, and you can become part of on the journey to help someone who is walking fresh out of addiction. John, I want to thank you so much. I think that God gave you an amazing vision, and that it is just a blessing to see someone have that vision and actually walk it out and be successful. And I am very glad that they are partnering with us. We have had great success, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. I'm excited for the partnership and excited to see where the Lord takes us.
Thank you to John and Tyler and all the people, staff at Unbound Grace. They provide an amazing service to our participants. The pre-graduate program has been awesome. If you want to be a part of that, it goes through us to them, so we'll connect you to them, and you can do that at our Give page, which we're going to talk about in just a second. Before we talk about that, though, I'm curious about Brandy and how she ended up as the volunteer coordinator. So how did you get involved with the Foundry?
So in 2013, I became a volunteer. I had never even heard of the Foundry, but I'm not from this area, so I was at church, and we had this small group that I attended myself, and it just changed my life. And because I do have a history 20 years ago of making bad choices. When I heard about the Foundry, I was like, I want to do that, because I want to show women that it doesn't matter what you've done or what you've been through, that you can come out and you can live a life full of love and happiness and all the things that you want. And so the Freedom Small Group, we brought that in 2013, and it went amazing, and they are still doing it to this day. I also became a mentor. So I was leading a small group and being a mentor at the exact same time. And being a mentor is one of the most rewarding things I've done here at the Foundry. And then it just kind of led me to, I kind of joked around, like, they need to create me a position. Y'all need to hire me on staff, and there just wasn't anything available. And then a position actually opened up, and it was a brand new position, and I came on staff, and I've been here since 2017 on staff.
Yeah, and the position they created for you is a very specifically Brandy position.
I was on the enterprise side of the Foundry, and so I would try to get businesses to donate goods to the thrift store. So I would go around and go into businesses and talk to them and tell them about who we are, and ask them if they would donate goods from their store to our thrift stores to be sold.
Yeah, and that's how we first got connected, because you had an idea for a giving campaign that
The stuff the truck?
yeah, it didn't quite work out the way we were hoping it was going to work out. But that's when development, we got involved with you, and tell us about how you go from this position and now you're working for doing all of our volunteer stuff.
So there were some changes happening, and the sweet girl who was in the volunteer position role, she was getting married and they were moving to another state. And so I was like, I want to do that. And so they moved me over here to this position, and I've been in this role since 2020.
And that was just to be frank, that was a pretty chaotic time.
And so when I came into this role in January 2020, fantastic. January, February, but then
something happened in March.
Something kind of took over, and
I think you guys can figure out what it is.
Yes, so I think it was around March 2020. Is that when everything really started just taking a dive?
Yeah. So COVID has happened, and now volunteering is shrinking, and our development kind of engagement coordinator left, and you kind of took on that role for a little while.
Yes. So honestly, volunteering stopped. I was told 0 volunteers. So everything that we were doing literally came to a halt. And so at that time, I stepped into another role of being the donor relations, because that sweet girl she moved to another state also. People are just moving everywhere. So she had moved out of town, and so because they really wouldn't hire, they were not hiring anyone because of COVID. Instead of hiring someone, they just moved me over into that role, which was great for me because I didn't have any volunteers. So they just moved me right over. So I started doing donor relations sometime in 2020, and then we did start getting volunteers back, and then I was doing both.
Yeah, one of the things I've noticed is that, like with like organizations or like sub-departments, there's all this momentum you build, right? And when you kill the momentum of something, it's hard to get it back going. We have a bunch of really incredible volunteers, but once volunteers stopped, it was hard to, like, how do we get this wheel rolling again?
It was extremely hard because I was having to say no. There were so many times that people would call me, groups would call me, churches would call me, and they were just told no for so long. It's kind of like a feeling of defeat, you know. And so we have gradually started implementing things back in, kind of to change the guidelines on how things worked. We had rules, and to be a volunteer, you have to do X, Y, Z, and it worked as we grew it. Now we're more free to kind of do things, and now it's really ramping back up. We are getting our volunteer database back up. We have new volunteers. We have our old volunteers coming back. So it is growing greatly.
Yeah. So I think that's a great transition into, we've gotten the green light a few months ago. Hey, let's get volunteering going again. Let's get it going right. And we have program changes happening at the same time. So maybe let's launch a new software while the program changes, which is a lot. So talk a little bit about our journey to finding the right software.
Yes. So once I was told of all of the new opportunities that were going to be coming our way, I was like, oh goodness, okay, we really need to take a step back and I need to take a step back and look, what am I doing? How am I doing this? And what is the best way to accommodate these new opportunities? So I did a deep dive. You helped me, Hunter helped me do a deep dive into all of the different type of softwares. And there are a bazillion of different softwares out there, but they're all different. And so we did everything in our power to find the best one, and we did. We found the best one to fit our needs. So now we have brand new software. It is streamlined and easy, and it manages everything. It's going to help employees. It's going to help volunteers, which is going to eventually, which in the end game is to help the participants. So it's a win-win for everybody.
And I would say that this software, it does a bunch of cool things that we're going to talk about here in a second. One of the things is it feels a lot like a social media site where I can just scroll through and figure out what opportunities are happening on what days, which opportunities fit maybe not even just my schedule, but my interests. We're going to talk about those in a second. Okay. So the new software that we're using is called VOMO. It hooks up with our data management backend really seamlessly. Lots of really cool features, but before we talk about those features, let's talk about how do you get signed up, how do you log in, how do you do all of that. So it's got an app, so we can download the app. It's got it on the browser. We're going to guide you through how do you download the app, how do you create an account, and then what do you do once you create it. So Brandy's going to pull out her phone, and we're going to do that right now.
Well, you go to your app store, and you're going to search VOMO, V-O-M-O, and it will pull right up for you. And you're going to download that, and then you're going to open it. So you're going to sign up, and then you're going to start entering in your profile. So your name, your email, your password. All right, it was that simple. Now I am in VOMO. And once you get to the VOMO on the VOMO app, it's going to pull up all of the local areas around you. Some of them may not be local, but it's going to pull up opportunities that you'll see from places that are not the Foundry. Go to the search bar. You're going to type in the Foundry. A opportunity will pop up, but you will also see down there where it says organizations, and you'll see our logo, and you will see the Foundry Ministries. So if you click on that, it's going to bring you to a page that says the Foundry Ministries organization, and you're going to click join.
Yeah, after you join, you have to be approved.
I will approve you, and then you will be able to look and scroll through all the opportunities that are available.
Yeah. And if you don't want to do it through the app and you have a web browser, you want to use the browser on your phone, all you have to do is go to foundryministries.com/serve. That's going to bring you to our volunteer page. There, you can just scroll down, and we've got head to our volunteer hub right here on the screen. And once you're there, it'll bring you right to the Foundry Ministries. You can already see I'm signed up in the right. You can join, create your account, all that stuff. It's very self-explanatory. It's just like a social media account. And if you have any questions, obviously you can email us or call us, and we'll help guide you through the process. Okay, so this is what you do next, right? We've got all these opportunities, and we've got a bunch of them already here ready for you to sign up for. We're going to add more in the future, but already here I'm looking at a bunch of opportunities. So let's talk about a few of them. We've got them separated by location. So if you're interested in helping our women's program, you can go right here and just click straight on the women's program. And I'm seeing a couple of opportunities here. I'm seeing letters of encouragement, women's mentor, Middletown Speaker, prayer team. Let's talk about all these new opportunities. Some of them are new, some of them are not. We've been doing mentorship for a long time. Really valuable. I think if you want to make the single most impact in someone's life, mentoring at the Foundry is probably the best way you could do that.
Yes. So being a mentor, it is, you are paired with someone in our recovery program. And so you spend about an hour every other week with that person. So they have to be during their grow week, and that's their week when they're here on campus. They're getting classes, they're doing their counseling. That will also be the week that they get to see their mentor. And so you can come and take them to lunch, you can come and take them to dinner, you can come and take them to breakfast on Saturday. You get to spend one-on-one quality time with them outside of the Foundry walls. You can take them out to eat, spend time with them. We have mentors who will take their girls to get their nails done. It's just a fun, interactive time and a way for someone to pour life back into people in our program.
Yeah, and going through the process of changing your life can be a bit of a hard experience, right? It's hard enough to change just little things about yourself, like trying to change my diet to lose my weight a little bit. Like that feels like a pretty big change. Changing basically the entire way you live your life feels impossible, right? So these moments where the mentors just speak life, pour love into them, they come back glowing from these meetings. Really, if you want to make an impact, mentorship's a really great way to do that. Okay, Mealtime Speaker. This is a new opportunity, pretty cool. If you've got 20 minutes at lunch, I think you should totally do this. Talk about, and it's not just lunch, so talk about Mealtime Speaker.
So we have a lunchtime speaker and we have a dinner speaker. And so you come, and while the participants are eating their lunch, you will speak for 20 minutes. We're looking for people just to kind of come and give an uplifting story, either business, spiritual. You can give your testimony, something just to kind of speak life into them, love on them, give them encouragement. Give them like a word of the day, something just to kind of get them through their day. So it is, they've been going good. We've had several people come for lunch, and we've had several people come for dinner already. And it's very simple. You just go to Mealtime Speaker, you sign up for the day and the time that you want, and then you get an email reminding you with the address and where to go. Yeah. And so you just show up, speak to our men. If you're a man, speak to our men. If you're a woman, you speak to the women. And they love it so far.
Yeah, and we're not asking you to be Stephen Furtick or Chris Hodges or anything like that. Literally any amount of positive words that you can put into a participant's life, it goes a really long way. So I think Mealtime Speaker is a really cool opportunity for me, and you really have their attention because they're sitting there eating. Like you've got, it's a really cool opportunity, and it's not something that requires a huge time commitment. Like if you've got the time one afternoon and you want to come down, just go to our schedule, see if there's an open slot, and you can come down and speak life into a bunch of people. Okay, we got 2 more opportunities here, and they're both a new type of opportunity that we're calling DIY at-home opportunities. Yes. One is something that's existed for a while, prayer team. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can sign up and you'll get a monthly prayer calendar, and we'll send out like prayer requests. And obviously prayer is a really big deal for us. And so being part of our prayer team, I think, is like the baseline part of being a volunteer. Is it's the best way you show you care is by going to our Savior and asking for Him to intervene on our behalf. But there's one opportunity, we talked about it last month. I want Brandy to talk about it a little bit. Letters of encouragement. Really easy opportunity, but it can go a really long way. Yes,
so letters of encouragement, you do it from home. It doesn't have to be a fancy card. It can be just whatever your heart desires. It is just a way for you to put in words, hey, I'm thinking about you, we're praying for you, you can do this, you can put a Bible verse on there, you can decorate it. It is really whatever comes from what God puts on your heart to do. But for a participant to have something there for them to read, to know that someone that they don't even know cares about them, can mean more than you would really think that it would.
Yeah. And we want these to be really authentic, not, where someone sends us a letter and we scan it 40 times and give it to a bunch of people.
It is the participant would get a handwritten card from you.
Yeah, that's right. I really love this.
Kids can do it also. Like if you have kids and you want to give them a piece of paper and crayons and they can, color and write, because all of the men and the women, they have children. Yeah. And so getting something from a child could be very meaningful to them.
Yeah. I can remember a few times in my life where people have sent me letters to encourage me, and those have been very meaningful for me. So I can see how important this could be to someone's recovery journey.
It really can.
And right now we have nearly 200 people in the program. So, lots of people that need letters right now.
And that's a big number. And so this opportunity is great for like a small group, a Sunday school class. Maybe COVID still scares you and you don't want to come into a communal type living area. You can do this at home. You never have to be around anybody. You can drop them off and then we will pass them out.
Yeah. So, speaking of groups, there's a couple of group opportunities in here. But the main way, if you want to get your group involved, is donation drives.
Yes.
It's more of an open-ended volunteer opportunity. Describe that a little bit.
So what I did to make it easy is I created an Amazon wish list. So I just kind of went on Amazon and picked out several of the things that are needed on a daily basis. And so in that list, and you can get even the ideas from the list and go to Walmart or go to Target order it from wherever you want. But by going on there, you can literally go to that list and from the comfort of your home, send things to these men and women who do not have the resources to buy these things. Deodorant, razors, bed sheets, just things that they need every day. And I made it as easy as I possibly could for you so anybody can do it.
Yeah. So for something like we talked about Mealtime Speaker, say you want to speak to the women and you come to the Mealtime Speaker opportunity.
So you're just going to click on that opportunity.
Yep.
And then there's going to be some information. And when you look at these opportunities, most of the times to the left, you'll see the location. So you know that location is in Bessemer. So if you keep scrolling down, it's going to give you information that you need to know. But if you scroll on down to the very bottom, keep going, there you go. There you will see the time slots. So you can see on Tuesday the 15th, there's a time slot for 11:30. That would be your lunch speaker. You would literally come and just click apply.
Yep.
If that day didn't fit for you, you're like, well, I can't do any day in September, but I can in October. You just keep scrolling down. And there's also a tab up top. You can change the month or you can scroll down. It's all interactive.
So we'll come back up and show that.
So you can change your date range.
Yeah, we've got filters here that you can come in and you can change. Say I want to do the second week in November at some point.
There you go.
I can click there and all of my November opportunities pop up.
Yes, very, very, very easy. So now you pick the day that you would like, whether you want to do lunch or you want to do supper, and then you're going to click apply.
Yep. Okay, let's hit apply. It's just going to be me. You can bring a guest if you would like. And that's just a way for us to track who did come and who didn't come for safety reasons. And then I just confirm. Now, there will be an approval process to make sure you can get in. It shouldn't be a big deal. And you will get an email notification letting you know that you have been approved for the opportunity and so that you can add it to your calendar. Yeah.
Then you also get a reminder about this opportunity 48 hours before, and then you get another reminder with the details on there an hour before.
Yeah. Now there's another type of opportunity that we need to talk about, and that's the letters of encouragement. How do people sign up and do that? We're going to show that right quick.
Okay. So letters of encouragement is not going to be a join process because there's no time on it. You're not going to pick like we're a Mealtime Speaker, you pick a lunchtime or a dinner time. This is one of our DIYs, and it is any time. So you're going to contribute. And when you contribute, you want to pick which location you want to write letters to. Do you want to write to the men in Bessemer? Do you want to write to the farm? Or do you want to write to the women in the Bessemer campus?
So I want to contribute some letters to the farm.
Okay. So then you're going to put quantity. So you know if you have a small group of 20 and you're each going to write 2 letters, then you would put 40 in that spot.
40. All right,
I'm
going to type this one in. That's a lot of.
Okay. And then hit continue.
All right. I did it.
All right, and then once you're done, click done. And then once you have done those on your screen, scroll back up just a little bit. You're going to see where over here where you hit contribute. Then once you have written your letters and you're ready to deliver them, you're going to add your hours. So this is where you're going to come in and say it took us 10 hours to write these cards. You're going to go back in and just put that you're going to write that you wrote for the farm, and then it took you 10 hours, 2 hours, however long it was, and then you're going to click continue, and your time is logged. And so when you go to your profile, you'll actually see all of that information. So it adds value to what you've done.
Yeah, so the contribute is just me saying, this is what I'm going to do, and then adding the hours basically says, I did it, here's the hours. The other part is here on this same page, you can see the address that you need to send those letters to. So you don't have to, like if you did 40, like I guess we're going to do, if you did 40, you don't have to stamp each one of those 40 letters and send it. You could put it into one package and send it to us.
Correct.
Or you could drop it off if you wanted to. But the address is here in case you do want to mail them in. That's an easy way to do that. We truly believe that volunteers can add the most value today to our program. We can fundraise and do all these other things, but you being here contributing into their lives is probably the single greatest way that these participants can have transformed lives today, right? Okay, I've got one more really cool thing about VOMO that we haven't shared yet, and it has to do with the change. So the change, which we talked about last week or last month, is our group of recurring givers we're going to be doing lots of cool things like setting goals and letting you know how much you've given throughout the year and celebrating milestones, all that sort of thing. But there's another group of people who are part of the change that I'm really excited to talk about, and that's volunteers. So inside of the Vomo app, you can go to your profile, and in your profile, you can see how many hours you've served, but you can also see the financial impact of your, so we're going to do something starting next year. We're going to start tracking the community of volunteers as a whole, how many hours collectively we've served, and what that financial impact is here at the Foundry. And we're going to be challenging you to serve more. We're going to be challenging you to invite your friends to come and serve. And we're going to try to get that number as big as we can.
So one thing about being a volunteer, a lot of people come to volunteer because they want to give back and help change someone's life. But what ends up happening is you end up being changed. Being a volunteer changes your life in a better way. And so by coming and volunteering with us, inviting your friends, getting your small groups, your church, your family, your kids in on some of these opportunities is just life-changing. And so we're going to be setting a goal in January just to kind of give you a little bit of encouragement, because I do believe that when you see that impact that you're making, it's going to kind of stir up a fire in you, and you're going to want to do more and get more people involved. And so be looking out for our goals coming in 2023.
That's weird to say 2023 already.
It is. It's kind of hard. I have to think about it.
Yeah. All right. We haven't missed anything, have we?
I don't think so.
All right. That's the end of the Lost and Foundry show. Thanks for tuning in today. Don't forget to go to foundryministries.com/serve to find your volunteer opportunity and to sign up, download the app. You know, all that good stuff. We talked about it enough today. If you haven't become a part of the change through our recurring giving program, go to foundryministries.com/thechange. There's more information in our last podcast that you can go on Facebook or YouTube and find that last podcast. And I guess we'll see you next month. Real quick before we end, I'm pretty sure, don't hold me to it, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to sit down with Brandy and Hunter next month to talk about all the changes that have actually happened, get more of a deep dive into our thought process behind the changes, and get in the nitty-gritty behind how we got it done, all the meetings and work that we've had to done. I think it'll be a really good talk. Yeah. I can't wait for you guys to sit down and hear what Brandon has to say about it. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.